And hello.
Hello, hello.
Oh, we've made it back. We're on another Tuesday in November.
Ew.
Why is this year going so fast? Actually, I'm kind of grateful. I feel like even though
I got holidays.
I was gonna say, even though it's holidays now, I feel like that's easy torture to go through because it's just like, all right, just put your head down.
This is my
There's
busy
gonna be a
work
lot.
season. No, thank you.
This is well, same, girl, same. But it's just like I can focus on this and just go through. I'll be fine. And then before you know it, it'll be 2025. I was gonna say 26. I was like, all right, no, not
Please
yet.
don't skip a whole year.
What is time but constructs
Robbie
of...
starts kindergarten in 2025.
Mhm. And then he'll start college in 2026.
Shut up. Shut up.
It's gonna go like that, you know.
I'll let him go spend a weekend with his Uncle Aaron, and then you'll be like, time is so slow. Get in.
Now, what are you talking about? I will. Well, hey, Adrian, how are you? I will teach him how to use a lightsaber. I've got like 5 of them, and then he can show his sister, whether through like practice or just practical,
Or the Force.
or the Force. Yes,
We'll
practical.
just do it in the ER parking lot. So when the
So
stitches happen,
you'll
we're
just
good
already
to go.
be-
I'll
you'll
go ahead and
just
get us in line. Yeah.
We just put a cue. What's your
Wow,
problem?
Speaking of college stories, don't worry about it.
But yes, here we are, Tuesday. Hooray, huzzah! Ready for another exciting adventure. You guys got anything for tomorrow?
Just a vampire, if
Just vampire?
all things go to plan.
Hey,
The vampires are going to the bar.
they're going to the bar. Do they? I'm just imagining like acrobats hanging upside down to feed all the
Acrobats?
vampire.
In the club.
Not that kind
We
of
are.
bar.
Oh, fan.
Probably.
Oh no. So there's that.
Welcome to the blood rave. What?
We've done that.
You know, I still have never seen those movies.
What, Blade?
That's on my to-do list.
Team.
They
Team
are
night?
We need to watch
hilarious.
together.
Yes.
No, I'm sure that's an entertaining
And
bunch of
then on Sunday, part 2 of Kids on Bikes. I'm gonna be over at Top Down Tabletop. We already defeated the ghost, but today Vix goes, I just had a great idea. And so that means bad things are gonna happen for the characters.
The second health bar just starts.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Suddenly the
It's
music
And
turns
then Aaron,
gothic.
next week
kids on.
you are
It's kids on. It's not kids on bikes. It was gonna say Elden Kids on
It's in
Bikes.
space. Oh,
Star in Wars.
Starring Wars. That's right. Next.
Oh shit.
Next Friday, the 15th. I think it's the 15th. Yes, the 15th. We will be rejoining our Star Wars crew. Got a fun new little banner planned. It's gonna be exciting, very interesting, and we'll see some more, warring amongst the stars with our lovely not Jedi duo. Are definitely
They're in denial. They're Jedi.
they're in denial Jedi. Yes, our quasi. It's like it's not a carbon copy. What would be a not carbon copy? Well,
A clone?
I was gonna say our pseudo Han Solo and our
On
you know,
pseudo.
unpseudo and Mandalorian.
Han Solo. Or,
It would be
You know,
Han Dulo?
Han duo. Ooh. Ham duo.
oh no.
I don't like it. Nope. I don't like it. Anyway, we'll be doing more Star Wars.
Fett.
Boba. It's just a bunch of little Orbeez. It's fine. Anyway,
Oh no, Boba Tea's ice cream shop.
it's fine. Anyway, we'll be doing that. So that's gonna be exciting. So a lot of fun things for November. Super excited. But anyway, I think that's like, the extent of our announcements for right now. Do you guys have
Check the
anything else?
Discord for details, except for Star Wars. I haven't added that one yet. I gotta do that.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all good. In the club. Yes, we all fam in the club with 2 B's. In the club.
Yes, I
And
do
an
have
R,
one little
club.
last thing.
Go for it.
In the off chance
Oh.
that you are watching this on election night and you are a U.S. citizen and you have not yet voted and the polls are still open where you live, what the heck are you doing with us right now? Like, I appreciate that you're here.
I hope you're
but
watching us
please
in
be
line.
watching from mobile in line to vote because that's really the priority. That's it.
Fair.
This message has been approved.
And if you're in line and your
masses of
polls
them.
have recently closed, stay in line. You're still allowed.
Yes.
This is true.
Alrighty. Let's start tonight's episode of Age of Myth, Act 1, Paragraph 3, Subsection 7, 4th line, something, intro. Black screen. Time to go not to black screen. Okay. Now I'll have to change my face. Ba-doop. 21st of Thargelion, Hemera Kronu. I remember entering Nemea, walking amongst the dead. Walking amongst what had once been a living place filled with lives. Seeing destruction wrought on this place brought to me a grim reminder that despite what I think I might know about the world, there are truly so many things that we do not know that lurk beneath the surface. These chimera were not the first in recorded history to bring about death to villages or towns. In the years that followed the collapse of the First Kingdom, beasts of monstrous kind never seen before, and some never seen again, tormented and plagued the world over. Civilization teetered on the brink before the people took control, and with the aid of the gods, defeated many of the monstrosities that had killed thousands. No, these chimera were not the first, nor were these type of deeds unknown to me. It was simply a reminder that though the last several decades had seen a decline in these monsters' attacks, these monsters still lived out there. That maybe they had simply receded to the shadows, only to be now called out under the voice of this Phobos and these fragments that appeared to be gathering together after their release. After giving quick rites to the bodies of those we could find, the young Orphics decided that they should bring the young girl they rescued, Callisto, along with them to Corinth, so that they might find her a new life there after the apparent loss of her old one. Words of encouragement and hope were soon lost, however, when, upon our near arrival to the city of Phoebe's birth, the girl became violently ill and unleashed from within her a plague of insects that were small chimeric versions of locusts and other such creatures. They buzzed and assaulted Laertes before the swarm was eventually defeated. The girl Callisto falling, her skin and body dried like a corpse left in the high deserts, Astrid came to her side and brought her back to health, though she did not awaken. Tried though they might, the young Orphix could not raise her beyond the slow and faint beating of a heart and shallow breathing. Hoping to find assistance within the city of Corinth, they decided to bring the plague-touched girl to the temple of Apollo, where we rested. Some of us, better than others, I would surmise. It truly amazes me what these humans will cling to, what words of faith they utter in a hope against hope that they are not to be proven wrong. Phoebe has not been herself, lost somewhere between the past and a tormented present. Themisto wishes to be a support and steady foundation for her companion, yet also is torn by her own thoughts on matters. Cyprus, perhaps most, has been lost in thought. As we near his home of Thebes, it is clear that the destruction of Nemea has set worry to his mind. Astrid and Laertes do their best to try and guide their friends through these waters of their troubled and uncertain minds. Though, with Laertes, there seems to be a stubbornness to his actions that, though a thing is clear in front of him, he has the power to change it. And under recent circumstances, it seems to be a correct assumption. But at what cost? We awakened the next morning, for those of us who slept, to a new day in the city of Corinth, with the sun and a few harsh realities set before us. Okay. As we get started, we go over to the House of Travelers, where Amadeo, Margetta, Mog, and Mikos have been staying for the night. This particular House of Travelers, kept by a stout, short man named Lukos and his wife Iris, has a rather busy clientele base here. There are many travelers that come to Corinth for one reason or another. We find that this particular, as the sun rises with Amadeo waking up, you're getting started. There's a knock on your door.
Who is it?
It is me, Captain, Margetta says from the other side.
Come in, come in.
She comes in bearing a large jug that sloshes about on the inside and immediately goes over to your cup and pours a nice little glass of morning wine.
I love starting the day early.
Captain, I wanted to talk to you about last night. The things that we have seen so far these last few days.
Mm-hmm.
The things we have witnessed are companions or charges do. she has on her face. Normally, it's very like sour, dour face. But this time there is like the touch of earnest concern. And she takes a seat by your bed where you are leaning back. Would you ever allow yourself to be tested?
Margetta, we have talked about this. No.
I only ask because... Calm down, music. I only ask because... I know you're not exactly the agent of the gods type. But perhaps they might be able to help. I don't know. Help you continue to grow. I know the last captain would have rather died than to be tied to the sea's duties.
And he did.
And he did. But perhaps there is a change that can be had.
I have considered the change, Margetta. My time may be coming sooner than we think, based on the cards.
That is what I'm afraid of.
A prophecy can be fulfilled in many ways. I think the fact that I never asked about the previous captain, but I think that the fact that a test is even an option for me means I have something that he did not.
True.
Either way, a prophecy is a prophecy. I have a plan.
Do you?
I do.
I could not help but notice that you took our path through Thespiae. I'm
Yes.
assuming that was on purpose.
Of course.
All part of the plan, huh?
That is that is more for personal reasons, as I'm sure you can appreciate. But the plan does reside in Thespiae.
She nods, grabs the cup that you had partially finished over, pours some more in it herself, and then just like downs the whole thing.
Love her.
Before setting it down on the bedside table next to the pitcher. It does not sit well with me that we let that girl live. I know that it bothered you as well.
More that we brought her into the middle of a big city. Did you get the things I asked for, by the way?
Yes, I
Good.
got them. Mog.
I know Mikos is sort of salty about it, but he is a Wata Genasi for the rest of this particular visit?
Mog was not happy.
Maug is never happy.
Also very true. I will go and get ready.
As she's leaving, Amadeo's going to stop her and say, Margetta,
She stops. Yes, Captain?
do you remember when Mikos joined the crew?
About the same time Mog did, I believe. Then she hadn't fully turned towards you, but she turned again. All the way. Lie.
Just something I am watching.
She shrugs. Okay. And goes out and starts to head out the door. And leaves you to your thoughts and your decanter of wine.
Mhm. Time to get ready to be a water genasi myself.
All right. We scooch on over to the Temple of Apollo.
Such a cute camera movement for such a tense situation. As we focus in on the people here, Niktos, right? Yeah. Oh, Niktinos. Sorry, Niktinos. Has taken in some of your advice or the things you had asked for, Astrid, and says he will return here shortly. You will go ask Eudocia for a pot, some soil, and stuff. Leaving, I believe, the rest of you there in the room with the sleeping form of Callisto. I feel like I have to reiterate. I believe in the ritual that I just performed. Says that there is a way to help her, but we don't have it yet.
Is it is it some kind of herb or an item that we need?
This I don't know. I asked the gods, or whatever it is that I ask. She kind of whispers, if she and the city would both be safe if we left her here without doing anything. It was almost true.
Perhaps it all relies on the fact that whether we are successful in our mission in this town and she will be safe or not.
Perhaps. Themisto is going to step back from the bed that Callisto is lying on. Just kind of give the small room a little bit of less cluttering by being in the middle of it with everybody.
Mm. What are you guys gonna do?
No, geez, did you mean to try again?
If the Misto is certain in her augury, I will trust it and leave it be for now.
Certainty is not something I have, but we tried once before. Perhaps we need conditions to change before we can affect a different course.
And I don't mean to agitate anything that's there that is dormant for the time being.
I don't mean to agitate as well, but there is one last thing I want to do to make sure. Not just for Callisto, but for you as well, Laertes. We want to make sure that you have not also been infected.
Was enough precaution?
The door opens, and a Nictinos comes in with a couple of really fancy-looking Corinthian vases, and Eudocia comes in after him as well with another like bucket and got some dirt and a very puzzled look on her face. Nictinos, I found what I could. I don't know if this will be enough, but here are some pots. I don't know, you gave me no specifics, so I grabbed a few things.
What kind of seeds did you choose?
I have here some seeds of fig and olive as well.
Eek.
Then Laertes, you will be the fig tree. This is something I learned from Artemis and my companions at the time. I will start the ritual. Laertes, I need you to plant this seed inside of the pot of your choosing with the intent of connecting to its life force with your own.
I can at least attempt.
I will create the connection between you and the seed, and within 10 minutes it will grow into a sapling, and it will reflect your own life force. Okay. I am also going to try to do this for Callisto, but normally in these circumstances I need a willing person to plant. But perhaps I could try it without. I'm going to attempt it.
Perhaps we, in the absence of Callista being able to participate properly, one of the other ones that we don't suspect as being infected should be the test group to show what a normal outcome should look like.
It's a good idea. A control group, as you say in the academics, yes?
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Then Themisto will be the fig.
I could do that, yes.
Then Laertes, you will be the olive. Okay.
Not my favorite, but I'll live with it.
Would you like to trade?
Sorry, it was a fig that she has, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'll cope.
We're gonna go from fig Newtons to fig Laertes instead. If you want. Okay. She takes her staff and in the floor, she's going to carve with the blunt end um, runic sigils that grow moss around where she's imprinted. And she creates basically like an arcane sigil on the ground made of moss. And then she holds her staff in the middle and she'll say some arcane words, and the staff will float. And she's going to place the two pots inside of the sigil. And within that 10-minute spell, she's going to have you guys, she's going to hand both of you a seed and have you plant your seed into one of the pots.
Themisto will do so. She'll bend down and set it on the ground. Kind of use both hands to create a little space. She'll go, Phoebe, plant it with me.
I don't know. Can someone help? Or does that ruin the ceremony, Astrid?
From what I've seen, it has to be one person.
All right then. Themisto will cover the dirt over the top. And as she does so, she thinks about the part of her morning prayer that she says to Gaia when she's spreading the dirt over her sword. That kind of image is in her mind. And when she was at the glade, blessing it in her own name to make it grow, to get a loophole around the villagers asking her not to bless it in the name of the gods.
Nice.
You see your fig grow into a sapling that quickly, within that 10 minutes, becomes a stalk and then grows out into a small bush and forms into a healthy, almost bonsai version of a fig tree. And it will now reflect your health, and if you were to drop down to 0 hit points, the plant turns back into a seed. If you're not doing well, it starts to wilt, age, and it will stay like that until you pass away or are transported to another plane.
Wow. That's a very fancy spell.
And then if you want to, you can take it out of the pot and it'll continue to survive. But you don't have to. So there's that. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll do the same for Laertes.
So as I'm given this olive seed, I'm thinking about the fact that olive trees take decades to grow. So that's a fun thought for me. There's this implication of people who grow or start olive farms know they will never see the product in their lifetime. They're doing this for the next generation, so that feels very fitting for him. But I'm gonna think about this in Mass Effect terms, where because half the people here have played it and it feels appropriate to the character, where he's trying to impart some semblance of himself to this to represent him in some form of effigy. And I guess what he's going to try and do is match this sympathetic vibrational frequency of himself to the seed, like quantum entanglement, so that whatever he does, it is represented, no matter how far away the seed is, by it and whatever it becomes.
You cover the seed with the dirt.
It explodes.
As you place it over, kind of give it a little pet. And you guys sit and wait. And nothing happens at first. And nothing happens at second. And a third moment. And a fourth. And Astrid, you start to like feel the tingle of anticipation, that nervous sweat that kind of starts to stick to your skin. And Laertes, you feel that same sensation of like, not necessarily dread, but like, oh no. And then very carefully breaking the surface, a tendril of green. Ever so slow and gentle, it begins to spiral upwards. The leaves branching out, one and then another. And like it was described, a little miniature bonsai version of this tree. And you look at this thing and its trunks that look so frail, so small. The branches spreading wide across the pot, and the greenery of the leaves turning so vibrant and beautiful and full. It seems almost impossible that such a lush, verdant cap would grow on such a thin reed of a stick. And then it too begins to grow until from what was once a thin reed becomes a thicker trunk as it becomes a full-fledged small olive tree. And you look for any sort of signs between the two, any sort of differences, the fig and the olive. They both seem resplendent in their greenery, alive as like trees and greenery does after a thunderstorm, where everything looks vibrant, the colors look bright and alive. And there perhaps might be a bit of a smirk from Laertes as the vibrancy of the tree seems to not necessarily mirror the vibrancy that you feel in physicality, but it mirrors the vibrancy of your mind. And you
I'd say it'd
realize...
be less of a... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you said, and you realize the shape almost has a, not necessarily like a green brain, but it's got like just more of a rounded shape to it than most olive trees would.
You're saying there's some intelligent design going on here, Aaron? But I would say there wouldn't be a smirk. It would be more wistful, contemplative.
As the Misto's olive tree branches snake around.
The fig branches seem to be continually moving. As if a steady breeze is always blowing.
That would be cool.
Sure, why not?
That would be cool.
Once the ritual is completed, the moss dries and turns to dust before the two pots are left there. You guys have your anastomosis.
I'm glad that you're able to know how the frick to say it, because I sure as hell did it. I was like, anastomosis.
Okay,
These are beautiful, Astrid.
that was hard work. Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this for Callisto, but I want to try.
Perhaps she will wake.
Perhaps. I'm going to, before I start on hers, I want to do Cure Wounds on her one more time. Spend a spell slot there. Pouring 13 points of healing into her.
You see the green from the and purple from the healing magic that you use as it sweeps across her body, from pulling from the air around you and into her. She takes a deeper breath. But doesn't awaken.
Return message one more time.
Okay.
It's like, Callisto, this is Astrid. Let me know if you're there. You're safe.
The breathing continues. You feel her pulse. It stays steady. Still faint, but steady. She breathes in. Her heart beats with more life. But she just still doesn't wake.
She's going to do the spell again. This time just around her bed, encompassing her body. I'm going to place her palm up and grab a little bit of dirt from one of the pots and place that in her hand. And then place the seed inside it and cover that.
Fig
and
or
then continue
olive?
the spell. We'll give her fig.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if I still have the little piece of the clay pot that her father had made, then I'll just place that next, like in the soil, but next to the seed.
Okay.
She continues her spell, attempting to do anastomosis again.
Okay. You stand as you complete the spell. Take a step back, and all of you watch for some sort of sign. You watch as the dirt doesn't move. And then the soil shifts, like something moves beneath the surface. You see tendrils of vine cling and move around the pottery that you had set onto the side. And from those clinging, thin, delicate strands of root, a twig begins to emerge from the ground. Slower, struggling. It grows and then falters. Grows and then falters. Grows and then falters.
I want to give it guidance.
But it continues to grow. It leans over to the side, like not straight up like Themystos is. It just comes in at an angle. You can see the leaves, and that become like the tiny branches in the boughs, also frail and weak, just kind of like fade and grow, fade and grow.
We talked about how the rooms here bring in that early morning light. Is it growing? Is it leaning towards the light or just kind of any direction?
It's just growing. It grows basically as she's like laid there with her hand out like that. It's just growing back up along her, like towards up her arm. But it grows. It's small. It's weak. It seems on the verge of expiring, like a tree that is old and aged.
Mhm.
But it doesn't look disease-ridden. It doesn't look infected or sick. It's just weak.
Okay. Um, this plant will represent her life. If this plant fades away, withers, then she is lost. But if it continues to grow, you know she's getting better. And she'll look at Igdinos.
He is standing there. Him and Eudisha are standing there with like mouth on the floor, kind of like.
Apollo has led me to some very special friends.
The not quite office moment of him just like slow turning his head to you like, really? You don't say. But he looks over and just kind of nods his head very slowly. So it would seem. I, in all my years, have never seen a priestess of Artemis use skills like that. It is truly miraculous. Now, I do not know what to say. We will make sure that she is well taken care of. We can take her over to Mistress Calio in the medicinal ward. She will be tended to there.
And our work here is done.
Before you leave, Phoebe, might I speak to you outside?
Of course. And I'll step out and follow him.
The Misto kind of looks at her with doing that non-speaking communication of like, do you need me to go with you?
She'll squeeze your hand and then step out. Give you a quick, like, reassuring squeeze.
You stand in the main chamber of the temple. Already the light and flame from brazier and torch have lit the space brightly at this part of time in the morning. You see a few people have already filed in to do their normal prayers and sacrifices, and he takes you over to the side. You, before you leave, I wasn't sure if I was going to ever see you again. I wanted to share something with you, and now seems a bit fortunate timing, I suppose. But better late than never. Do you remember? You were at least 5 or 6. Climbing to the top of the temple.
Mm-hmm. When I fell and broke my arm.
It was one of those times that you had climbed and you were watching the stars rise in the evening as the sun had set. It was strange, I suppose. Most children are not so attentive with their eyes skyward, heavensward, as you were. But even at a young age, your interests were always there. And you would talk with such surety about things that I assumed you knew nothing of. You conversed as though you were friends with the gods, as if you knew things beyond sight.
He was always my friend.
So you have said. I was never one to doubt. But there were times when I wonder if Apollo ever listened to our prayers. I wanted you to know that your faith, your insistence on things, was a boon to this old priest. You may have been under my care and protection, but there were times that I feel even you cared and protected me. You could even say you shielded me from my doubts. At least from them forming. And
That is something I want to show you. Oh, I'm sorry. Please continue.
I am just rambling. What do you want to show me?
Not here with oh my gosh, the word of like people going to beseech deity.
Supplicants?
Yes. Not with them here.
Okay,
Could we go to your office?
sure.
Do you think there'd ever be a time when I requested to go to your office rather than being dragged there by my ear?
There are many firsts that are happening this day, so why not another one? And he leads you to the small inner sanctum that is his office, quote unquote.
He does listen and hears us and speaks in rather interesting ways sometimes. And I would like to begin to let that glow out.
You see his eyes widen as the glow comes from around you, from your skin, from the warmth, from the hair. Do you do the full, like, wings and stuff too, or is it just the glow?
I'll just do the glow. I'm gonna save the wings because I don't know what else we're gonna do today. We're gonna hit the road. And that's Phoebe thinking, like, if we start down the road and something happens.
But you just see that inner divine glow that kind of lets out. And his eyes widen. Just nods. I do not know if I should bow or kneel.
No.
Are you truly Phoebe?
I am Phoebe. The same Phoebe I've always been. got stuck for a while. Forgot what it was like to have fire.
What do you mean?
When I stayed here in Korinthos, it was what I thought I was supposed to do, but it wasn't. I had to leave for Apollo to show me how to find that fire again.
He just has a pensive look to his face.
What?
He shakes his head, pushes a small golden strand of hair out of your face.
What?
Nothing. Perhaps you still have lessons to learn from this, Apollo.
Wanting to continue to be wise and mysterious and not just tell me what you're thinking.
Yes. That is the way.
And it will never not be frustrating.
There are only so many lessons that I can give.
You sure? Because it felt like hundreds and hundreds when I was a kid.
And it will continue to feel like hundreds and hundreds more. That is the point of life. That we never stop learning. For if we stop learning, we stop living. I feel you have much to do in the city still. Put your mind at ease. We will take care of this Callisto.
Thank you for taking care of her.
She is in good hands. Now go. I'm sure your companions await you. And you don't want to spend any more time in this temple than you already have.
Nice being back. But I'm afraid it's very brief.
Not many return to the temple from which they were raised. It is a gift that you were able to return at all.
To be honest, I was afraid to come back. But I'm glad I have.
Why? Were we so cruel?
No, not for this part of my life. But for the part that came after.
Nothing changed, Phoebe. We were always here. Go. You are dismissed.
I'll give him a little peck on the cheek and then go back to the others.
Astrid, Laertes, Themisto, Cyprus.
Your tree is quite nice, Laertes.
To be honest, regardless of whether I'd be infected or not, I expected it to be a bit spindly, lighted. Pleasant surprise.
To hear Artemis tell it, you and I are the same.
Well, I can think of few higher compliments.
Likewise for it to come from you.
So what do we do now?
This is the question.
We know that she is not blighted, and she's not to be a worry for the people here or to herself. She just needs rest. I think we can continue onward.
There is a. I don't know. We'll wait until she gets back before I say all of the things, but this is Phoebe's hometown, and I know time is pressing, but it feels like there is some unfinished business here for her. Could we attend to it, perhaps, if that is what she wants?
Wouldn't hurt to see if there's anything that we could resupply with or get rumors about. Give her a bit of time to walk around, see, or talk to who she needs to.
This is also the closest point to Delphi on our journey, anyway. I would like to perhaps send a message across the sea to the Pythia.
Truth be told, I'm very curious about seeing what Delphi looks like.
I would love for you all to visit. And since we have had a sign that perhaps there is more there than I realized, it would be interesting to see for sure. With your eyes there too.
Well, if we can't get to it before Thebes, I'm sure it'll be important either way.
We'll go there as a celebration once we are done with all of this.
Yes. Just in time for me too. I get ready to stand to try to attain this which some people already call me.
Somewhere Davos stands up a little taller. We'll say this about
Elementally smug, and I don't know why.
say this about when Phoebe returns to the group.
All good.
Oh, good.
Laertes and Cypress and I think we're going to walk around and see if there's any rumors or that needs to be done.
I'd also check on the other captain to see if they haven't made another ruckus.
When are they supposed to be
would be
meeting
good.
this year? And I know who you need to talk to if you want rumors for what's been going on in the area. He'd be not too far where I'd like to stop by.
Okay.
Okay. So you gather your things.
Have Amadeo and crew made their way back to the temple?
Yeah, it's probably about time.
Well, you haven't seen them on the inside yet. But when you go outside, there are some people that are like gathered at the front. There's some people don't always make it to the inside of the temple. Some people just go to the front steps. They place their offering there, feeling that they are not necessarily worthy of going into the inner sanctums of Apollo's temple. Laertes, what were we going to say?
This would have been before we left the room, but
Sure.
what do we do with these plants, like above the table? Or do we just leave these here, or were we meant to take them with us somehow?
When I was on a team of hunters, we would.
I'm
strap
asking Sonder, the player, what the intent was.
Right.
Well, he's saying that.
Oh, was okay.
When I was part of a group of hunters with Artemis, in situations where things could get perilous, we would strap uh, our plants onto each other, and make sure that if something did pass, we know about it. So perhaps Tamiso, you give yours to Theory, and I could take yours, Laertes.
Would you
Just
like
little
to
like
carry me, Figgy?
macrame belts.
Basically, we'd use twine around our belts and strap it there. But we can pull it out the pot. It is fine.
I was just going to offer to put them in the bag, but that works too.
How big are the plants, Aaron?
I mean, they don't grow into like full trees. They're like stalks,
They're
right?
bonsai.
They're like
Little bonsais.
Yeah, they're just like
Okay.
little miniature versions. And if you remove them, they're gonna basically morph and shrink into a branch. So it's just like having a fig branch or an olive branch. So it's not like you're carrying a whole tree.
Yeah.
But that way, for ease of taking,
that
but it's a
case-
fully green. It's like the leaves are very vibrant and it will not wilt.
In that case, I will take the mistletoes out of the pot, put the pot in the bag of holding, and then tie the fig branch onto my belt.
And then I'll do the same with Laertes.
I am already always by your side, but now even more.
You have given me a bracelet, this shawl, and now a fig plant. Got to find something to return the gift to you.
Eventually, we can do this for each other. I just felt a little strange about it at first, but maybe it's not such a bad idea.
I'm gonna lead into Astrid and just they're treating it like a whole thing. It doesn't mean that you and I are seeing each other. It's not serious. It's okay.
All I can think
I
about
value
is
you as a friend.
is how to lose a guy in 10 days. It's our love fern.
Okay. Well, now that that's been
You're a
taken care
valued captain and friend, but no.
I will say that whenever you step outside, you look about to see if the captain is there. Amadeo, roll a sleight of hand to see how well your get up looks.
Okay, under skills.
Captain, say what?
Where is sleight of hand? Why is this not in alphabetical? It is in alphabetical order. It's just not going down that far. I am so sorry. Give
Are
me.
you on mobile?
There it is. There it is. I am on mobile.
Hmm.
Okay, 14. So not great, but good. What if instead I did a deception check?
Sure.
All right, in that case, it is more. Here, I guess I could re-roll. Oh my god. Y'all, mobile is not it for D&D Beyond.
I think it's having a hard time because I'm trying to use it too, and it's not rolling anything.
Okay.
So it's
Let's see
not
what Google
just
says.
you.
It's having trouble on desktop right now. I was trying to update something and it
Okay.
took 15 minutes for it to
Okay,
populate.
Okay, well, I rolled a 9. My deception is a 10, so 19. How about that?
beautiful. Okay. Describe for us what your disguise looks like.
So obviously, pretty shrouded with robes. Um, Under the hood, you can see like seaweed basically coming out, and with Amadeo in particular, he's trying to disguise the fact that he has horns. So there's like a he's trying to insinuate that there's a whole lot of hair underneath this hood, and it's just like kind of spilling out of spilling out of it. You can't see his tail. It's he's either got it wrapped around his leg or something, but it's again, he's wearing kind of a robe, so it's something that he could feasibly hide.
No.
And that's pretty much it. He's also talking differently, but I'll figure that out in a second.
You guys walk out, and there are 4 individuals that seem to be posted up against one of the larger columns, whereas everybody seems to be showing a lot of auspicious, what's it called? Not auspicious is probably not the right word, but they're showing out reverence. They're showing a lot of reverence for the area. You see, this one individual is like posted up against the column, 1 foot back on the resting on the column, leaning back. There's like a battle axe there, but for whatever reason, there is like this light colored, almost clay like plaster paint on their normally orcish green skin, and the hair that was normally tied back in these neat little braids is now like almost down and around the face in a quasi emo, like just completely covered hair. The clothes looks like they're trying to hide, but it's the large axe that gives Mog away. And then from everybody else's perspective, Mikos looks like he also has been drenched in seaweed. Looks a little not. I mean, he's definitely sour faced also, but there's a little bit of like, basically your crew of 4 Mistios have now tried to undergo some sort of disguise to disguise themselves as someone else. Mog appears human. Margetta, interestingly enough, has 2 cow's horns under her that have now been somehow attached to her head. So she has taken on the. She looks almost like she's trying to be a minotaur, but not really, because it's just the horns are just sticking out in a non-tiefling way.
They didn't roll as well.
Nope.
What are you doing?
Ah, yes, my good friends. Are we ready to
What are you doing with your
leave the
voice?
city? What are you doing with your voice?
What are you wanted in this city for?
He sort of looks around.
Nothing yet.
You see Mog go, that could change.
Sorry, what is
Oh, no.
Amadeo disguised as? I missed that part.
A water genasi.
We've
Thank
got
you.
like 2 more stops to make before we leave.
Ah, of course. 2 more stops. Easily done.
You know,
We shall accompany
you're
you.
being very creepy.
You're being very creepy.
There's a resigned sigh and a rolling of the eyes as Mog gets up from where they were at. Right, so can we go now?
Mog, did he make you do this?
Yes.
Yes.
They both, all 4 of them go yes at the same time.
So is Margetta, what did the other 2 dress up as? What are they cosplaying today?
Mog is trying to appear almost human. We're gonna say for fun and giggles that Mog is actually looks like the player character. And yeah, and Margetta is trying to appear to be like a tiefling, but just has She kind of actually winds up looking more like an old, elderly Viking maiden because she's got the two like horns. Just like they're just. I want to say that they attach them to a helmet. So, and then. So she kind of trying to look almost. It almost looks like a really cheap barbarian kind of. There's some furs involved. Like she's trying to be a minotaur. That's not really the greatest. And then Mikos has disguised himself from being a Triton into also trying to appear more humanoid in a water genasi sort of fashion, but also has seaweed for hair.
It is so difficult to get good help these days.
Why is Margetta dressed as my great-great-grandma?
Maybe
I
I
will have to
am
ask
your maybe I am your great great grandma. You don't know.
Grandma?
Come here, child.
I haven't seen you in such a long time.
Do you come up to give her a hug? Because she's gonna give you a hug. She's gonna give you a hug and smash your face into her bosoms and just like,
Oh, gosh.
oh, that's right. Give grandma a hug.
I forgot
Aaron?
about this.
Do I watch my life stick snap in half at this, or my actual life meter?
She like releases you. She just like slaps your cheeks and then just goes, "Oh, my precious great granddaughter,
Oh.
you could only be so lucky," and slaps you upside the head a little bit. So,
Alright. I would like to start leading everyone down towards the docks, onto especially look for Sophus for Astrid Laertes and Cyprus.
okie dokie. Hold on a second. Let me change some of these things. I pinched my own cheeks and now they're sore. I did this to myself. I'm like, why do my
Things
cheeks
you do
hurt?
for the game.
Things I do for love.
He's method.
Yeah.
He's super method.
Yeah. All right. There we go. All right. As you are walking through the streets, through the bazaar quarter, and towards one of the docks, looking for so what was his name? Sophus.
Sophus.
Sophus. Okay. Go ahead and describe the man that you seek.
I have too many tabs open. There we go. He is a more portly gentleman, probably in his early 50s. He's got all kinds of little bells and things, braided into a very bushy beard. And has like different colored ribbons and scarves tied about him, but he is a trinket dealer.
Oh, okay, cool.
You.
What is great for tchotchke?
It's Chachkikios. Pretty sure.
The loner word.
No.
Is
All
that
right.
singular or plural?
Okay. As you approach, you see this man that has like a couple of tables in front of. It's kind of like one of those permanent farmers market booths. It's not quite a storefront. It's not quite a like breakdown and set up tent that he has every time, but it is a. It's got like a yeah, basically exactly. It's kind of set up against a building, but there's a couple of there's like an L-shaped table that has a whole bunch of knickknacks brought in from the. Some of them look like they've been brought in from the sea. Some look handcrafted. Some look hand polished. Some look handmade.
Is he Sean Gilmore?
Yeah. So as you approach, you can just see as he's like hawking things as he goes by. Come see, treasures from beyond belief. Come see, and he just kind of goes back and forth till you guys approach.
If you want to know any rumors that have been flying around town, this is where you ask.
Okay. I'll let you take the lead in introducing this.
He likes to talk. He likes to talk even more if you buy something.
Do you
And we'll
go?
start with that.
Do you go up to him, Phoebe?
Yeah.
So you see this man who's like just generally talking to everybody. And then the moment his eyes hit Phoebe, his eyes widen. Phoebe! And he comes from around the side and he comes over and like, come here, my sunshine.
No, I'm the one getting squeezed into a bosom.
Now you are getting squeezed into. Yes. The big grandpa kind of hug brings you in, puts both hands on like your shoulder and pushes like, I never thought I would see you again. Where have you
I
been?
think I would be all over.
All over. That's the best you can do.
Okay. Ilum, Sparta.
Wow, you've done a lot in the last few weeks.
I keep forgetting. It's been like a month.
Oh, yeah.
Less than that.
Yeah.
If only Cypress was here to tell us the exact number.
Insert Cypress's comment. It's actually been, etc., etc., etc. I'm more than happy to see you. You'll have to tell me about all these adventures and what took you to Ilum. And then Sparta, of all places. Although that's not so far, so I guess I can see that, but Ilum's across the sea.
It is. I had to take a boat.
I would hope that you had and not swam. That would have been quite a
Well,
feat.
you know, I tried and I got really tired.
So, who are your this gaggle of friends that you have brought with you?
Oh, this is Demisto and Astrid and Cypress and Laertes and then this guy. Did you change your name last night?
Good to know. Good to meet you.
What was your name? I'm sorry.
Devos,
Bevos. Okay.
with a D.
Devos. Got it.
There you go.
Is
Devos
Davos
the
like,
water
hey,
to
wait,
us.
Did he just lean into frame, just really angry and irate, staring at him?
Devos, the water genasi. Mm-hmm.
You
Anyways, some of my friends wanted to know what everyone's been saying here in Corinth.
depends on what they've been saying a lot, so it kind of depends on what exactly you're wanting them to have said.
And I'll turn to Astrid, Laertes, and Cypress.
We've heard of wild men that have come into some of the other cities. And we just came out of Nemea, where we saw,
You went through Nemea.
sadly, this
Whoa. You must tell me what was that like?
we only saw the aftermath of it all. There is a chimera. We assumed there were more than that, but these beasts tore the town asunder. And there is some man that was involved as well, but we are unsure of his identity.
Oh. You see, he's listening to your story and he's like looking at everybody looks over at Davos and Xanthus and the rest of
wanna
Amadeus' crew.
Kind of tap Astrid's foot with my foot. I need Astrid to pick up on careful how much you share with them. This is to listen, not to say. So I don't know if we need to roll for how much Astrid gets that with a foot tap. If there were a table, this is when you kick your sibling under the table, but there is not a table, so it has to be a little more subtle.
Roll. I'll have all of you roll me an insight check. All 5.
Okay.
No. Why do I do this to myself? Oh my gosh.
13.
I rolled a natural 1. I'm just going to say that I'm so distracted by the pantomime of Amadeo
It's-
over here.
Oh.
It's throwing off my radar.
Nice.
I got a nat 3, which turns it into an 11. It was going to be a 19, and then it hit the side of my
Blame
screen
the
and went,
blame the scream. That's funny. That's fun right there. Okay.
I don't remember what my bonus is, but I rolled a 2, so I probably don't get whatever this is.
No.
Themisto.
That was a natural 20 for me for a total of 26.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Somebody saved us.
26. Okay. I'm gonna say anybody who rolled higher than an 18.
So just a miss, though.
Those are just the miss out. Okay. He's like listening to Astrid, but his eyes are kind of like scanning everybody. And at the Mista, you see that his eyes go to stop and do a double take with Mog and Mikos. And like his eyes like stay looking at him, but his like attention and like what he's talking about, like to Astrid, seems like he's paying attention, but you see his eyes are locked on Mog and Mikos. Mog kind of like does this, and then looks like immediately away. Mikos has like a blank stare that he's like staring back at this man before like looking somewhere else. But it's just for a brief moment of like the interaction of them like catching each other. Mog's reaction, not as veiled. Mikos' reaction, definitely pointed, staring at the man, and then like looks elsewhere. But
I am going to call both of them on it, both Phoebe's friend and was that Mog who is doing the staring? It is the other one.
Mikos, yeah.
Mikos, okay, and so Mikos too. I go. Do you two know each other from someplace?
Oh,
Amadeo looks back very interested.
Mikos just raises an eyebrow. Not that I know of. And Sophus also is like, he looked familiar, but then the seaweed kind of distracted me, so I think it's not who I thought it was. But a fair attempt at luscious locks, however. I see both of you, he looks pointing at Amadeo and Mikos, seem to be going for, what is this, twins perhaps? Relatives of the sea? Children of Poseidon?
Oh, something of the sort, yes.
So you were saying about Nemea. You came here. Where are you headed exactly?
North.
North?
North. Mhm.
Well, as far as wild men are concerned, I can't say that I've had any besides the usual hooligans that come through Corinth on occasion on their collegiate benders. But I have heard stories of vicious beings that have been attacking travelers on the roads. So if you're traveling north, be cautious.
North as
Granted.
well.
No, mostly these things have been happening to the south, so now that I think of it, Phoebe, it's very good that you have come here safely. I'm assuming that you have been traveling with these companions of yours.
Yes, a large group seems to have on the road.
It would make you less tasty to these savage folk that I have heard of. Still, keep an eye on the horizon just in case.
Any strange men that you have come across? Men in robes?
Wait, what?
Any
Men in
strange men
robes.
that you have come across?
Oh.
Men in robes of black and red.
Black and red.
There was a girl in Nemea who described someone like this. She's safe now, but just on the lookout.
Well, I mean, I've seen plenty of strange individuals wearing robes.
I'll
But
look around.
but black and red in that particular order.
Red and black.
I'm assuming you're talking of this cult of Phobos I have heard so much about.
Yes.
No, I haven't seen anything here, but I know what
Inside
I'm
check.
looking. Sure.
Better 23.
23.
Hiding.
He is keeping information to himself. Maybe direct lie, probably maybe not, maybe, but he is definitely not being forthcoming with information.
You have very interesting wares.
Yeah, they come from all over.
Hmm.
I do a few dealings with some garbage haulers that come from the Lakeum port. Some from the Senkresh on the other side, but mostly from the Lakeum side. For those of you, there are two ports to Corinth. One is on the Corinthian Gulf, which is the one that faces west, and then the Senkrea, I guess is how you would say it. I'm not 100% sure, but that is the one on the east side. But Laertes, make a perception check for me.
Nice.
What was it?
Uh-oh.
Natural 20 for a 26.
Beautiful. Oh, I had not been looking over at you, so if you have said anything else that I may have missed, I apologize. Okay. For a 26, nice. Your eyes kind of peruse. Yeah, for real, Bella. Your eyes kind of peruse the table on one side to the other. There are a couple of trinkets that are on this table that remind you of statuettes or artifacts that have been dated back almost 1,000 years to the fall of the First Kingdom. They're not necessarily First Kingdom relics, but they are statuettes of a few heroes of myth and legend of date back to that time when everything was a little on the crazy side, and man was fighting for survival in a recently flooded and turbulent world.
Interesting. Do they have names attributed to them? Like anything inscribed, like as a, like this was Heracles, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Not really. You just recognize the iconography.
Okay. But nothing to signify who it could have been.
No, the stylization of it is just very post fall of the Old Kingdom. But the interesting part is this reminds you of kind of some of the stuff that some of your contacts back in Ilum had.
I was gonna say
In the sense of in that sense of these are things that maybe would have been brought up from undersea wreckages or ruins.
I imagine some of them I've even seen or purchased from those kind of dealers as a means of just studying parts of the culture, parts of why they made things the way they made them. Which to that point, what is the material? Would I be able to tell that from looking at it? Is it relevant in any way?
Marbled stone.
Okay. But something pretty common by all accounts.
Somewhat. Just not something that common enough to where it's not like, oh my gosh, but rare enough to where not every junk vendor or trinket vendor in every city is going to have something like this.
Just so we're not wasting this guy's time with idle chatter, because this is a business, I'm just going to inquire about at least one of the statues, seeing whichever one just jumps out at me. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but how much are you selling one of those little statuettes for?
Oh, those are pretty old. Make nice decorations, especially for, he looks you up and down, perhaps on a desk or a bookcase of some sort.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Great minds, great minds. I could part with it for, or if you want to take 3, I could part with them for, let's say, 5 gold.
I look around and I see the cavalcade of pageantry of whatever the hell Amadeo and company are doing. How about 10 gold? I'll take the lot, and you don't put out any sort of rumor or acknowledge that you've seen these fine individuals.
What individuals?
I knew we spoke the same language.
That we do. That we do. Here, I will put them in a box for you. And he like starts getting them and like wrapping them in like bits of cloth so that they kind of fit nicely into a little wooden box. Astrid, what were you gonna say?
I want to pull Phoebe aside.
While he's packaging things.
Yeah. He is. He's not spilling the entire truth of what he knows about this cult of Phobos. How trusted is this man to you?
I wouldn't say I trust him. He's just someone who
It's
takes
just a
in
person.
information from another places. Don't. I'm worried about how much you've told him about the mayor. Don't share any more with him.
Of course.
If you're going to try to win his favor, Laertes just purchased a bunch.
I need to try to get what I can out of him.
We can leave if we need to, so there's not just a huge group of us overtaking the table.
He hasn't had any customers come by. It's not like there's a lot of people coming to him anyway.
And I am sure you had another place you wanted to check, Phoebe.
Yeah, it's just a few blocks over.
We won't go far.
So what are you doing?
I'm gonna say good luck and hug Phoebe and Themisto.
Above table, does it make more sense right now for Phoebe and Themisto
Oh,
to
yeah.
split off to go to her old home? Or is that something that we should do all as a big group?
Well, it's up to you guys.
Then, yeah, we're going to split off.
Okay. As you say your quick little "I'll see you in a minute," Sophus sees that you are about to move along. He's like, he finishes what he's doing real quick, gives it to Laertes, comes around the table. He's like, wait, save Phoebe, before you leave. He comes over and gives you a big hug. He whispers in your ear, "I'm very glad that you are okay. We were all very worried."
Who is we?
He pulls back. Half of this side of Corinth, I believe. Where's Matthias?
I don't know. We didn't leave together.
He did not leave with you?
No.
Strange. He takes a step back and like grabs your hands in his and just like holds them in front of him and gives them like a big fatherly squeeze.
Does he look at the bracelet again?
His
He
eyes
tried
do
to bite at one point.
He does look down at it and he just smiles to himself and then looks up at you and smiles.
I'm glad I didn't sell it to you. I found the original owner, though she insisted I take it back.
He looks
Then
over.
he's just going to smile.
Looks over the shoulder and sees the Misto and just he kind of like raises an eyebrow and then goes, I have something I wanted to tell you for a long time.
What is it?
It's just very silly and thank you for coming by again to see me today before you head out to go back to Ilum or wherever it is you are going. Seeing you has always brought sunshine to my life. In more ways than you will probably ever realize. Please, take care of yourself wherever you are going. He looks back at the rest of the group that you were here with. I have a feeling that you are destined for very interesting things with the people that you keep company.
It certainly hasn't been boring.
I would imagine not. He puts a hand on your shoulder and squeezes. Please take care of yourself. Don't let anything happen. He turns back to... Okay, where were we? Looks back over to Astrid. And as he goes over to talk to Astrid, Laertes, Amadale, and the rest, Themisto and Phoebe, you break away to go down the street. Your heart pumping madly. That is where we'll go to break. Yeah. All right. So, oops, that's not the right screen. All right. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Wee.
Mm-hmm.
Yahoo. Okay. Dope. As Sophis comes back over to Astrid, Laertes, and Amadeo in Cyprus. Cyprus. I'm just saying his name 3 times so that it invokes his, spirit or whatever. What are you? Is there anything else that you had wanted to ask him, Astrid or Laertes or Amadeo?
I'm going to take out one of those crystals that we had that was like a memory shard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then?
I want to present it to him. And I guess I would have to do like a persuasion check or maybe a deception check.
4.
I want to try to persuade him to take this item in exchange for the information that he is not providing to me.
Well, what are you saying, though?
Oh, yeah. I want to get to that. But that's the intent. So,
Heard.
okay. So, Sophus.
Yes. What was
All
your
of
name?
these, Astrid,
Astrid, right. I'll remember
all of
that.
these beautiful trinkets and items you have, I see some of them are from the Old Kingdom, yes?
Very astute eye.
Well, I have an item of my own that I obtained from a Triton friend. Perhaps you are interested in this
Red pepper?
Old Kingdom shard.
Yes.
It is
We call them
some
red
kind of-
peppers. Yeah.
As we do, yes. It's some kind of crystal. I heard that it has maybe healing properties, or you're able to speak into your dreams into it, or something like that. But it is from the Old Kingdom.
Is it, though? Is it?
You can check the legitimacy yourself if you like, and I'll hand it to him. Speaking of, oh, go ahead.
What? No. What were you gonna say?
Speaking of legitimacy, there are some things about this cult of Phobos that I would like to know more about to protect myself and my friends here, and this Phoebe that you love so much, that you care for. We want to make sure we're not falling into the wrong crowd, meeting people who are dangerous. If you know anything else about this God of Phobos, I would appreciate more information, and I'm going to hand the crystal to him with the we'll do a couple coins as well.
You want to
Couple
get
goldens.
yourself something nice? Well, are you make a persuasion check?
Right.
Because I don't see any deception in what you're trying to say.
Okay. They're about the same. 18 straight.
Beautiful. 8 Amadeo. Make an insight check or perception, whichever one. Because I have a feeling that you are now kind of catching on to
Yeah.
some
We're going to go
things.
with perception.
Sure. Also, it is should be noted that Davos has followed Themisto and Phoebe at a decently safe pace, but he is keeping them
figured.
within eyesight.
17.
17. Okay. As this conversation's going on, your eyes kind of, just kind of darting around as they do. You kind of look over, and as Astrid presents this artifact, you see some shifting of feet to your side as Mog kind of like is curiously looking over, and then seeing and hearing what Astrid just said. Looks not to you, but over to Mikos. And Mikos just kind of like tries to look casual, but you can tell that he is also paying attention to what is being said. But Mog is kind of like their eyes going back and forth from Astrid to Mikos, as if trying to gauge reaction. And then from Astrid to Mikos goes and looks at Sophus and back. It's like just kind of like it's making this little like circuit of reading intentions and trying to see what's being said or done. Sophus looks at the item in his hand. Interesting. Well, it does look like you have something very genuine in your hands. How did places it down the table between the two of you? How did you come by this again?
There is a Triton that I acquired it by.
Interesting. Be careful with Tritons who sell you things. You never know where these things come from. They could be cursed. You will have your eyes taken from you in the night. Or, stories such as this. But he looks over at the group that you are standing in front of. He slides the gold that you had placed on the table over into the palm of his hand where they disappear. I would indeed hate for you to come across this cult of Phobos. I hear that they are rather devious individuals, if the stories from Sparta are to be believed. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Astrid, not really. Being in that situation in Sparta says, yeah, I would not.
Ah, I did not think so. He looks over at Laertes and the rest.
I would have given.
Oh.
Interesting. I would have left the scene entire. No, I would have backed up a few feet to kind of be looking at a different part of the stall or the start of the next stall, just to give Astrid the space to work and not crowd her.
Okay.
And let her follow her instincts. So.
While he still looks over at any of the others before, looking back to Astrid. I personally have not seen such an individual or individuals walk through this town. Corinth is a port city. There are many people who come through these places. And there are many eyes on these roads. If you are traveling north, I have a feeling you will run into them eventually. So be careful. And yes, Phoebe does mean more to me than most. So take good care of her. I owe her my life.
He is a light that guides us. I've seen. I know what you mean. And we will. She's important to all of us.
You see his eyes kind of take on a 1,000-yard stare for just a moment. I don't think I really have the market for selling something like this here. He tosses it in your direction.
I grab it. I was hoping you'd say that.
Try your luck in Thebes.
Thank you, Sophis.
Of course. Can I interest the rest of you in some Kameshian bells, perhaps? Some crystal wands brought over from the western seas. They are rumored to have come down from the very northern heartlands filled with ice and snow.
I'll take one of these ones. Sure. You have done us well.
He flings, you want one of the little crystal wands?
Yeah. I'll
He
do the
flings you
ones.
a little crystal wand. He doesn't charge you for it.
Okay. I did take out 3 gold for my.
You paid for it.
so-
Basically. All right.
Would I have clocked? I guess I wouldn't have clocked Mog. Looking.
Because they were behind you, probably
Yeah.
not as much. But make a perception check as you guys all kind of like regather and kind of scope away to find Laertes at the next stall over. A old woman who's selling yarn. That Cypress
11.
immediately his eyes narrow once he sees that she's talking to Laertes.
11.
11?
Yeah.
As you guys, I mean, this isn't, they are not being particularly, not quiet, casual about this. But you do see that as the band kind of moves from one table over to the next, Mog stays behind and kind of looks over everything on the table, feigning interest, just kind of like looks up at Sophis, just kind of does the little bit of the sup nod, and then follows the rest of you guys.
Does something look interesting to you, Mog?
What?
Oh, did you find something in the store that looked interesting to you?
Psh, I mean, it's just a bunch of stuff from the bottom of the water. It's not that interesting. It's fine.
Aaron,
Yes.
before we leave,
Yay. Yay.
can I
Yay.
can Are you good?
I was saying yes and I at the same time, so it came out
Yay.
yay. Yay.
Can I try to look for signs of a hidden dagger on either the shopkeeper or on Mikos?
Sure. Make a perception check.
Perception is 6, so that is a 17 again.
Nice. You have seen there's like a sheath along the back of Mog's shirt that they normally had their dagger tucked into.
And it's that
Suddenly,
dagger.
it occurs to you to like look over at Mikos, and you see that Mikos has a matching hilt buried into part of his pants that make it look like it's just like part of a belt. It doesn't appear to be a dagger sheath. It just looks like it's part of the belt, but you realize that there is a piece on the side of the leg that looks like it's part of just like some sort of like not scaling, what's it called? Like barnacle-y kind of like decor that's on the side of his leg that is the same matching thing. And then you look at Sophus, and as you guys are walking away, one of the crates at the bottom, behind the table off to the side of the L, looks like there are some daggers that are, and like most of them look like they've been in the water for too long. They're kind of rusted over. Look like they're in the need to polish bin. You see one of them is not in the, that is in there, definitely doesn't need polishing, and it also matches that same dagger.
So sorry, I zoned out for just a second there. You say the one, the daggers, are they for sale?
They are
Is he hiding
under
it with the ones that are for
they're
sale?
basically no, because these are like
Okay.
there's a basically like a little basket of daggers that need work, right? They need either polishing or cleaning to become
Okay.
sellable.
So this is like sure.
In that basket, there is one dagger that does not need cleaning, looks pristine, and it is the same sort of shaft that both Mog has and Mikos. So it's like hidden amongst the garbage daggers. Make sense?
It does.
Heard. Okay. So as you guys then go over to meet up with Laertes, we're going to scooch over to Phoebe and Themisto as they walk along the port here, the little docks together. Mind you, this is like, we'll say this is like 11 or so in the middle of the day, or close to noon.
On the walk over, I would like to say, was Sophos and Nyctinos said the strangest things today.
They seem to like you very much.
Yes, but I mean, Sophos, I only ever bugged for information about other places. And then he told me I've always brought sunshine to him. And then Nyctinos said my faith was a boon to him. I thought he only ever got on his nerves.
Well, you are older now, and they are able to share the perspectives that wouldn't have made sense to you as a child, huh?
And then Nyctinos almost said something, but they wouldn't let himself. He just said there are more lessons to be learned.
Well, I won't dismiss your instinct. If you think there is something strange going on, then there probably is.
I just don't know. There were unexpected comments. But
That
once
has-
again, Sophos thought Matthias left with me. It's not the second person to think that.
Korinthos has been a more mysterious reunion than anticipated.
Yes. Maybe we can find something at the house.
That is my hope as well.
and walk along the path. This little neighborhood of right along the beach. A few of these houses people live in, a few of them are like fishermen's shops where they would bring in their catch and prepare them to be sold at market, etc. So the smell of a dock of fish is getting quite fragrant, we'll say, in the air, bringing with it a lot of buried memories. Blessed by the gods. Phoebe, is that you? From around, coming from around a corner as like, this is a woman with a shawl wrapped around her head. Oh my god, her head, and carrying like a bundled basket of what looks like tubers and vegetables, like carrots, like carrot stalks and stuff that's carrying out. You see Dorothea coming around the corner, her eyes wide. Well, do you have a description for her, or shall I?
Go ahead.
Okay.
You shall.
This woman, she looks probably later, we'll say later 40s, early 50s. Not quite in the grandmotherly age range, but getting there, maybe eventually soon. Her sun-weathered face definitely telling of many years either here on the edge of the sea or even perhaps at sea. But she hustles over quickly as she sees Phoebe and just like, is that really you?
And when I hear her voice, I'm going to kind of freeze in place and reach for Themisto.
Mr. will take Phoebe by the waist.
Oh my goodness, Phoebe, you're alive! Oh, bless the gods! Oh, Hera's answered my prayers! And she like puts the basket, like half puts it down, half like lets it drop as she like shuffles over in her kolaches. Kolaches, her sandals. She's wearing sandals, okay?
Wow, Aaron's hungry.
No, because here's... well, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, I was gonna say sandals. Huarachis in Spanish is the word we would use for like sandals or chanclas. Huarachis, and so it's like kolaches came out instead. So, it's just
Spills her
You're not
kolaches
confused. You're
everywhere.
just bilingual.
oh my gosh, it's so bad. Okay. Anyway, she comes over. Forget that I said anything about baked pastries. Comes over, comes over and is going to attempt to give Phoebe a hug.
Yeah, I'll let her.
She gives you the tightest squeeze, and it is one that takes you by surprise. It is probably the most earnest. It's like seeing someone that you haven't seen in years. That feeling of like holding on so tenderly that you do not want to let them go. And you swear even for but a moment that her body shudders like she's holding back tears. And when she pulls away, you see that she is indeed crying. Phoebe, you're alive. You're alive. Where have you been?
Of course I'm alive.
You disappeared. One day to the next, you were gone. We were all so worried.
I left Matthias a note. But I have heard that he vanished also.
Left him a note? I don't know. I have not seen him since you left. I figured something had happened. One day you were there. The next you were gone, and then then he was gone. I thought something terrible had happened. And then all the stories I've been hearing lately from the creatures to the south, and wild people, and monsters, and darkness, and villages being burned. I was so scared. I thought that perhaps Phoebe, and she comes over and gives you a hug again.
I am fine. But I am here to maybe learn what happened.
Oh, she like grabs her hand and does that like old lady like does the squeezing of the fingers and just like she gives like kisses the backs of your palms and then like sets you like lets you go, like composes herself again and just like I'm sorry, you just
Has anyone been at our home?
no, not that I have seen. Pelagios has been watching the place for you.
I'll have to
been-
thank him.
He's probably over there somewhere. I saw him tending something to like the gardens or greenery things. It's not exactly his forte. Most of the things were dying, but he's doing
That
his
was
best.
not his fault. That was mine.
No. Oh, I'm so sorry. Who is your friend?
Sister Misto.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
My name is Dorothy. I'm one of Phoebe's neighbors. I live just over there, and she points like at a house, and you guys look, and you can see Phoebe's house. Well, the mister doesn't, know which house it is, but Phoebe, you see your house. It's like right down the way because you were almost there. I had just come from the bazaar. I was trying to get some things for stew. Are you going to be? I can make. It won't take me long. Just a few. Just by dinner time, I should have something ready for you and your friend. If you would like to come and have a meal, it would mean so much to be able to catch up with what has happened in these last few weeks.
I don't know if I'll get to stay that long. I'm afraid the gods still have farther for me to travel.
Oh, that is good. You are doing things for the gods. That is good. That is good. Where? Well, here. Let me grab my things. Come. I will. Come. I will walk you to the house. We can talk along the way. What? Where have you been? Where did you go?
I have been traveling. Apollo sent me to the Pythia to be.
Oh, and who's the Pythia to be?
The Misto.
Oh, you are the Pythia. Oh, to be. I thought. Okay, I understand now. The Pythia to be. Yes. That is incredible. Congratulations, but provided you win, of course. Or did you win, or I don't know how that works.
No. I am still an aspirant. I have not yet been chosen.
Yes. Aspirant. That is very good. As you are you? I'm assuming you are from. I was going to say up the river, up the way over at Delphi. Yes.
Yes, I am from Delphi.
Very nice.
This is only the second time in my life I have been to Korinthos.
Oh, you've been before.
As a child, yes.
Well, we have grown much probably since then. Maybe not. I mean, you look fairly young, so maybe we haven't changed that much in so short of years. But are you're in the midst of traveling? She's like muttering and like you can tell that her mind is going like 50 bajillion places at once, and she's trying to pick which sentence, kind of like the way I talk normally, pick which sentence and phrase and word to say to make any sort of sense.
I am on my pilgrimage. Phoebe is coming with me.
Oh, I see, I see. Huh. Well, that is very good news, I think. Yes?
Yes, it's very good.
Okay.
It is the path Apollo has for me.
Well, you were always a child of Apollo. That was never in doubt. You see her lips kind of flatten out in that, like, don't know what to say now. She, like, continues to walk. She gets up to her house. Well, I suppose I will leave you to your she just gesturing at your house.
It was good to see you, Dorothea.
She sets down the basket and goes in for another hug again and just holds you close. It was so good to see you again. I truly was praying desperately to Hera for the last week. That first week you were gone, I was beside myself. I thought we had lost you. It is good to see you again. Now, if of course you are here, I will make sure that I have made enough for you and your companion. I don't claim to be as good of a cook as some of the others in the neighborhood, but my stew is pretty good. Phoebe was always the best. She made the best stews. She's like looking over at the misto. Hands down, life changing. And wherever the path might take you, please don't forget about us. Us us little people down here amongst the shoals and the beaches of Corinth. It was so good to see you again. I hope that you are able to stay at least for dinner. I will do my best to send you off in, well, maybe not through Corinthian spirit, but as close to it as we can.
I'm gonna try to start doing the polite, like, backup, like, okay,
Themisto, make an insight check for me.
Mm-hmm. Artificial 20.
Okay. The level of enthusiasm and excitement that this lady has shown is undoubtedly borderline on the, like, a lot side. But there is an emotion behind her eyes that is undeniable. And it is a swirling mix of sadness, elation, and worry.
Mm.
And the whole conversation has been like back and forth of like these different conflicting emotions that she has had. And she just kind of smiles and then waves nervously and then grabs her things and then goes inside the house.
Phoebe, I am sorry. I probably should have let you take the lead.
Didn't hear what you
I
said.
cannot hear you, my love.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
You're
Accidentally
very
knocked over my
soft.
mic.
But
And so I didn't think she'd ever stop talking. Seeing her again was an unexpected surprise. Her overenthusiasm for other people's lives. She was one of the reasons why I grew bitter towards Hera. She kept telling me I just needed to pray more, I just needed to sacrifice more.
I'm sorry. Sometimes there is nothing to say.
But now it's time to investigate. To see if we can find anything.
Right. We should do that.
As we get inside the house, Aaron, what do we find?
Well, you want to describe what your house is like?
It's very simple. It's not more than probably like 2 rooms. So we're in a very poor fishing village section of the town. You could tell most people here are probably fishermen. And like there's just not a lot to it. I mean, it's nicely kept. It's homely. There's different, useful herbs and things hanging from the rafters still. But there's kind of like a kitchen main room and then like a bedroom.
Walking up to the house, you do indeed see the minimal like herb garden / couple of useful plants and vegetables have had a struggle bus of a time for the last few weeks, but they have been kept alive. You open the door and find that it is unlocked. You go in expecting, not sure what to expect. Everything is still clean. Everything is still in its place. The smell of the house is curious. Only in the sense of it smells like home, but it also doesn't. Not the way it would bring comfort to most. Nothing looks changed. Nothing looks broken. You see that there are a few piles of things that have been set on the table, like a couple of bowls and cups and dishes, that sort of thing, that were just kind of like they're clean and just set there as if someone had not been sure where to store them and they just put them on the table. You go to the little small bedroom. The blanket folded neatly at its foot. The small desk in the corner, the couple of oil lamps that lay unlit. It's like walking through a ghost's house.
Are his things still there?
You look around. You see a couple of shirts, but not all of them. It seems like the ones that were the most worn were left behind. There was a chest of his things that he would normally keep in the corner. The chest is gone. Nothing of his remains. Your stuff's still here. Some of your other clothes. A worn pair of sandals. All of it laid or left exactly where it had been.
Are there any notes?
Make a investigation check.
10.
May I as well?
Sure.
Or assist Phoebe?
Whichever. Whichever you prefer.
Why don't you roll? I feel like your investigation's probably a lot better.
I didn't roll super high. So, no. I don't think we'll be finding out this time. That's just a 7.
Okay. No notes. No note either. You think about the one that you had left behind. You had half expected to see it somewhere. No. Nothing.
It is a lot to take in, but how are you feeling about all of this?
I don't know what to think. I didn't give him any indication where I was going when I left a note. Because I didn't know where I was going. It seems like he has not left one in return. So I wouldn't even know where to look.
You hear the door creak open from the kitchen, the main room, as I'm assuming you're in the bedroom right now.
Mhm.
Hello?
He had been.
Right before we hear that, can I get in? Honestly, I don't know if I want to look. And then we hear the voice.
Hello?
Do I recognize the voice?
Yes. This would be Pelagios.
Pelagios?
Phoebe? Around the corner, a weathered man appears and like, if you can imagine the Greek version of the most cliched "I live at sea" old fisherman comes over and around the corner, just like, Phoebe, you're alive, thank the gods. And he comes over and embraces you. And he like takes immediate step back, looks up and looks you up and down, looks over at the Misto and looks back at Phoebe. You're unhurt. Ah, we were so worried.
Do you know where he left? Where he went to?
No. Phoebe, you're alive. That is the main thing. We were sure that you had died or been kidnapped or taken.
I left him a note.
Yes, it was like a ransom note or something.
No,
No?
it wasn't.
It said something about you being extinguished. He was sure that someone had taken you and that you had thought.
Never did understand metaphors very well. Everything was so literal with him.
He was swearing that you were trying to leave him a secret message or of some sort, that you were in some sort of danger. He was beside himself. Did he not find you?
No.
Where did you go?
The gods had a new path for me.
What do you mean?
We all follow the gods. And Apollo had a different path. I did not listen for too long. That is why I was almost extinguished.
I'm confused. Were you not following Apollo's path before?
For most of my life. And then I thought I was. But I wasn't. I stopped. Stubborn.
But all of the miracles.
What?
The blessings, the light. What of those? What do you? How did you stop?
Aaron, do I know what he's talking about?
No.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry. I am Pelagios. He looks over at the Misto.
Themisto.
Gives a deep bow. Did you, the, you remember that time I was sick? Almost on the point of death. You remember this.
Mhm.
You remember him getting sick for being stubborn and doing old fisherman things that he shouldn't have been doing when it was
That
cold
one
out.
got real gnarly. And
Mm-hmm. And Matthias had asked you to make one of your soups, one of the stews. And it had been one of, wouldn't say it was quite an argument, but it was one of those, he brought this on himself kind of situations.
Mhm.
And you were, not like you guys were living in the lap of luxury to be able to feed him as well, but he had pulled some extra strings and got some extra ingredients, and you had, not necessarily begrudgingly, but weren't necessarily most thrilled about it, made him some soup. You remember when you brought the stew over, and
I just made you some soup.
Phoebe, you did much more than that. You saved my life. I was certain I was going to die. I saw death waiting for me. And then you walked in the room, and all the shadows disappeared. And you brought me the soup, and I swear to all the gods, if it had not been for you, I would have perished that night. And it was the same for most of the villagers in the fishing quadrant. In the fishing quadrant. Quadrant was the wrong word. Sorry. Space brain. In the fishing quadrant, we were all so worried about you. Phoebe, you were the sunshine to all of our lives. And then something happened and you left. We were certain that someone had taken you away. Matthias was beside himself. I've never seen him so sad, so lost. He said he was going to find you, and I told him that we would try and get the city guard involved. We were going to put out a search party. We were going to find whoever had taken you. And then before I knew it, he was gone. He had taken everything with him. I don't know where he went. All I know is that he went after you.
I didn't want to hurt him. I couldn't think of a different way. I kept having a dream over and over about running and then falling. And then one night, I was running and then flying. And I knew I had to go. I didn't know where I was running to. But if I stayed, I would fall. And the mister, that's not the first time you've heard about that dream.
Yeah, Themisto is going to take Phoebe's hand during this part.
What? He watches you take her hand and then looks at the misto, then looks at Phoebe, and then back and forth again for a minute before like realization hits. I'm sorry. Shakes his head. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to hurt him.
But
I
you
didn't mean
did.
to hurt any of you.
But you did.
I know.
He was a good man.
I know. I wish it could have been different.
No, you don't. You did what you wanted to do, Phoebe. You see his face harden. I'm going to go. May the gods guide you. May the gods protect him. He looks down at the ground and there's just like turns and walks out of the room.
Phoebe sinks down onto the bed.
The misto's gonna sit beside her. You couldn't have known.
I didn't know about the village.
And you couldn't have stayed. You said it yourself.
I felt like I was dying here. There was no way to leave and not for someone not to get hurt. I was aching inside.
And life does not always have in store for us the easy course. But there is something I know. Is that you have to be true to who you are. There is no other way to exist. The Mr. Snakes are tilting, looking at Phoebe. It's like... Sometimes the world is not ready for us, but that is no reason for you to have to suffer.
We can go. We can leave Korinthos. Maybe it was a mistake to come back.
If he had been here, how did you hope it would unfold?
I don't know if I would have come back to the house if I would have known he was still here. As much as I like to run into battle when there are monsters to fight, it's not so easy when it's my life.
I will say, it does not surprise me that the villagers said you brought light into their lives. You certainly do mine.
To be honest, I didn't even think my soup was that good. I just thought they were already sick. I couldn't taste anything anymore.
For
Phoebe,
Hmm.
something strikes you in this moment. With the way Themisto just said something. Now, so far, you have had at least 3 people say that you had saved them. From one way or another. Even Dorothea, the way she had greeted you like a lost daughter, a lost sister. Your mind goes back to the night that you had received a reading from Amadeo and all of the shield cards that kept popping up. And how that was supposed to be a part of your past. And you had thought that perhaps this was your friends who had been protecting you. You now see that these were people that you, unknowingly perhaps, had protected instead. One shield card after the other. Even Nictinos had said, you remember his voice, who had shielded me from my own doubts.
Right now, for Phoebe, she's thinking about how shields get dented and bruised and broken, protecting others, because that's kind of how she feels right now.
Mm-hmm.
If it is time to move on, then it is your choice, but with your neighbor, the people in the temple, so far they have called us friends or traveling companions. I want you to set how they see us. But if it were up to me, the mister will kind of sadly smile.
Would gladly tell the temple. And how Apollo brought us back together. How my life has been better for it.
Korinthos. The fates have a funny way of things.
Maybe Apollo will bring them a new healer here.
As she will. I am sorry we have not learned more of your past, or we do not know where Matthias has gone.
I've learned a lot, but I keep getting pieces and I can't see the big picture yet.
The mister will stand up from the bed and offer her hand to you.
Baby's gonna touch her forehead to the mistress' forehead and just sit there for a second. And then put her hand behind and kiss you. It's time to go find the others.
I agree.
Get Cypress back to his true love.
I don't want to see you in a place that dims you so anymore.
I don't know how to feel about this place. I don't know if I will for a long time, but we know what we have to face ahead. And so north is what I look for now. And in the morning, when we pray, I will say a prayer for Matthias. That wherever he is safe. And maybe he can be led to a new, happier life.
And I shall say these things too.
Thank you.
I love you, Phoebe.
I love you, Themisto.
We will leave this dreary house.
Okay. You go outside the house just in time to see your entourage of companions approaching Davos as he stands like at a post that is just outside of the house's range he was standing at.
I don't think it takes an inside check to see that Phoebe's been crying.
Aw.
Does Azure just say that?
Does Astrid just say, "Aw"?
She'll go up to Phoebe. Hey,
Come on, I know somewhere. It's like a 10-minute walk from here. It's got the best fish. I can get something to eat before we leave.
I'm not going to ask how everything went. I'm just going to give you a hug.
Maybe I'll tell you later.
Okay. Your friend, Sophos, cares very much about it.
He's gonna cry a little bit more at that.
He is a good man.
Good.
I am ready for a fish. Let's go.
You guys walk.
Just for flavor,
Hmm?
even though Phoebe is holding on to Themisto, if she walks close to you, Laertes, I think she's gonna lean on you a little bit, the way that you've leaned on her a lot on this journey. Just for an extra arm to lean on, if that is amenable.
I think it'll surprise him a little bit, but he'll, see the fact that she's been tearing up, so he'll make himself available that way.
Mog comes over to Amadeo as you guys are walking towards the village, the fish hut, Joe's Crab Shack down the road. Captain,
Yes.
you want me and Mikos to find out who made her cry?
No. I don't think that will be necessary.
I mean, it's not like we're coming back to Korinthos, so you know.
We most likely are, Mark.
What? Oh, it's so boring here.
We do not have to stay long. We simply have to get back to collect our bounty, remember?
They roll their eyes. Yeah, I remember.
Always a step ahead.
Cross their arms like a pouting child. Just kind of like they even walk with like that like flop, flop, flop of the feet, or just like kind of like definitely minor tantrum throwing. And you see that Amog looks over at Mikos and just like basically like Dad said no. To which he just shrugs. And you guys go over to Joe's Crab Shack.
Yay.
Joeacles Crab Shack.
Crab Shackus.
I want that to be a real thing.
Where
We
they
got the crabs. Oh, that you should have thought out your PR, buddy.
I feel like that was all over their menu. We have wait, do you know of a did you guys have Joe's Crab Shack up there?
No, I know of it though.
Oh, you know of it though. Okay.
Hey, did you have Fuddpuckers in Texas? We had
No.
those on the beach.
That sounds like
Uh-huh.
that's like
Uh-huh.
how do we
Yes,
not
Fuddpuckers.
how do we
I
not
heard
we had
Fuddruckers, but
Fuddruckers.
still wrong.
Fuckers, yeah.
Okay, Ruckers.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was like,
Sorry,
that's
it's
no,
been
no,
a
no,
long time.
no, because I was like,
You
that
can tell
sounds.
by my pasty Victorian child complexion. I definitely go to the beach all the time.
It just, I was like, was this someone who was like wanting to get as close to Fuddruckers as they could legally without using Fuddruckers as a name?
You're similar but legally distinct.
I was about to say the same thing.
That's amazing. Okay.
Similar but legally distinct from the Lollipop Guild. Never mind.
Yeah. So you go over and enjoy a lunchtime meal.
The blue plate special.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Meat and three?
It just says Phoebe's soup.
Oh. It's a very shoddy replica of the what became known as a became a neighborhood speciality. While you're there, there's a few people that come over to you, Phoebe. Random fishermen, some of the people from the neighborhood that you saw them in passing. And they see you. And there's a moment of like recognition, and they wave and say hello, and like one, maybe two out of the like 6 or 7 actually comes over and tells you that they are so good to see you again, that it's been so long, that they had been very worried about hearing from you about your disappearance, but that they are glad to have that you are in good health.
I'll do the polite script, so sorry. Gods have a path for us. Stopping back through. Good to see you. All those pleasantries.
But throughout it all, he gives you more and more of that realization that perhaps your time here touched more lives than you had realized. They frequently refer to you as the daughter of Apollo, daughter of the temple, daughter of the sunlight. And though it is comforting and warming, it is also bittersweet. Only just now realizing how much of an effect that you had on these people's lives. More shields. More lives changed. And more lives to change to come. Is there anything else that you would like to do before you leave Corinth? For any of you?
How's the fish?
Mediocre. It's been fried too long. But it's good.
Oh,
If we can make our path go back by the temple, I would like to run back inside very quickly.
Sure. You see, as you are traveling, as you go up there, you walk by several of the places you used to visit a lot, whether they be stores or gardens of statues, etc. And you make your way back up to the Temple of Apollo, where you had spent the entirety of your childhood, basically.
Mister, will you come inside with me for just a moment?
Of course.
You go inside, and you, as you enter into the main area, you see Callistos, as he is bringing a censer filled with incense and smoke out from one of the other rooms, and kind of going around the temple floor. And he sees you, and he's like,
Callistos, are you balding? Is taking care of children doing that much to you? Just a little spot right there.
you see his face kind of like,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You are always a good older brother to the children.
Can you get you to put that in writing?
You've got a quill, some parchment.
I can find one.
Noctinos nearby.
Nyctinos, yes, he's in the his sanctuary. Are you leaving?
Yes.
The physicians just took a Callisto not too long ago to the physicians.
She's still resting.
He nods.
Good. Hope she can heal.
I'm sure she will, given time. Shakes his head. I will go get Nyctinos. You hold this? Gives you the censure.
I was
and then walks
going
away.
I'm just gonna walk with him. I was going to follow you, dummy.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to wait here. You wanted me to bring him or something. I don't
No,
know.
I'll go with you. I was just asking what you can stay too. You can hear what I have to say.
Shrugs. Takes the censure back. Give me that.
Hit you in the head with this.
Yeah, hit me in the head.
Flick him in the back of the head.
Ah, right in the bald spot.
That's why you have it.
He goes to the high priest's chamber. There is Nyctinos. He is currently offering prayers to a golden statue of Apollo. And then turns his attention over to you. Phoebe, you've returned.
Just briefly. We're getting ready to leave.
Oh, so soon.
Yes. We cannot stay long. There is more to do up north. I wanted to say, if anything happens with Callisto, or if any of the plague, any of the cult of Phobos come here, just ask Apollo to get us a message, and he will.
Is there a plague we should be worried about?
The cult of Phobos brings fear with it, but also a sickness, a darkness. I don't have any kind of minor illusion. Nope, I only have light magic. It's, let's see. Tar had been invented, yes, because ships and things.
Mhm.
It's like tar. And once it begins to stick, it can only be burned away.
That sounds vile.
Oh, it is. But if you need our help again, just ask Apollo and he will let us know.
If you have lemon balm, I would say you should have the hives relocated to near there to encourage the bees to land on it. And the honey having its influence, I think, will be useful.
Okay. Sure. I will keep an eye out for this plague that you speak of.
Good. There is one other thing I want to tell you.
Okay.
Apollo, for a while, I thought he brought me to the Pythia to assist her on her journey. And he has in a way. But he also brought our spirits together, two of us. I would not be who I am without her. She is my other half.
Mister's gonna do that like hand grab where their like arms kind of cross when they're holding.
Nictinos' eyebrows raise.
Before it was duty, but this is love.
You see Callistos' face gets cold. Nictinos. I see. What of... He trails off. Do you know who he's talking about?
I don't know where he is. And I know I've heard him. But I could not stay. Maybe marrying him in the first place was a mistake. Maybe I wasn't listening. Or maybe it was to have me in the village for the time I was there. I don't know.
You will need to try and make this official then.
Yes. Aaron, what would Phoebe know would need to be done to make that official? Are you going to have to think of something to get back to me next week?
Probably. But
We'll talk.
for a ancient Greek divorce, it is possible, but it is...
I do know that women could initiate. I have read that historically.
Yeah. Who nods?
We're probably at the temple you got married under, so I mean,
Yep.
that makes
Yeah.
it easier.
Oh no, the record's
He's-
burned.
He then looks over at the Misto. Are you not to be Pythia?
I am, and I suppose you will be the first to hear. I have spoken to Gaia. She, who once held domain over Delphi. It is okay for us to chart a new course. I know I will have much convincing to do for the people, but it is the way of things. I have not forsaken Apollo. But I am to be a bridge, and to do that, some traditions must change.
We shall see. I shall fetch the records. He walks out.
Who was that just left? Which of them?
Nyctinos. Callistos looks lost in thought. And then, like, snaps out of it. I have duties to perform. I must go.
I meant when I said that you were always good to the younger children. It's a good job praying now.
He bows respectfully. He starts to leave, stops at the door and turns around. I always envied you. I don't know why anymore. May the gods protect you.
May Apollo's light continue to shine on you.
Aspirant. He turns and leaves. Within the next few minutes, Nyctinos arrives. Brings a scroll of marriage certificate-ness. And then prepares a new scroll. To make this binding, we will need to find Matthias. Or confirm that he has deceased.
I've never tried to use sending on someone who is not Orphic. But I may be about to.
Astrid can locate people.
This is true.
But I will sign this in the meantime until you have located your ex-husband to be. We will hold these papers here until you send word.
Thank you.
Be careful.
We will. The best that we can.
You're dismissed.
As we leave back to the main chamber, I'll take Themisto's hand and give it a kiss before we leave the temple and rejoin the others.
Themisto will kiss your forehead when you kiss her hand.
You you get together with your companions on the outside of the temple.
Hmm.
Most of the disguises on Amadeo and his crew have begun to either melt off or are now, like, by this point in the day, starting to slightly, like, become askew. Davos comes over to Themisto. Is everything all right?
We are getting used to being heretics of a fashion.
He just nods.
But it is good. Phoebe is worth it to me.
It was difficult leaving Sparta behind under the circumstances in which we left. So I understand.
The bark of the tree strains and cracks as it grows. Such is the same for all of us.
I will have to try and remember this. Curious analogy. Where to next, Capitan?
Are we finally ready to get going?
Please,
Well,
let's go.
we go quickly. Aaron, what's the next place called?
Is Smith's Mia? Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Is
Smith's Mia?
Oh God. Why are there so
not
many
enough
M's?
vowels.
That is a weird name. Ismithia. Ismithia, maybe.
It's
Ismithia.
What
that one.
Ismiths are named after?
It might be because that was, well, I mean, I doubt it, but that is it looks like it's the thinnest part up there. So you'll be going there. You'll probably either, depending on time of day and how you want to continue, you'll probably either reach Megara by the afternoon, evening, and potentially might be able to reach Pagea by after nightfall, or you'll stay in Megara for the night. It's up to you.
Megara is just run by Meg from Hercules.
It's there. It's just a city full of Megs. It's like the Nurse
Damn.
Joy. It's like Nurse Joy from Pokemon. It's just a whole city filled with one person.
I think
Clones.
Martel and I, though, are sitting there thinking, shut up, Meg.
Shut up, Megara.
All right.
As we leave Korinthos, Themisto would like to pass off a couple of scrolls to a messenger to put aboard a ship
Sure.
to bring to Delphi.
Okay. All right. As you leave the city of Corinth, walking down the path, a coastal path on the eastern side of the small isthmus, there's one moment when Phoebe looks back at the city. This hillside city that has been your whole life up until the last few weeks. And as it fades away behind you for the second time. You feel like there's still so many questions that have taken the place of the answers that you have received. Cypress comes over to Phoebe and wraps like an arm through your arm and like gives your arm a little pat with his hand. Is everything all right? You keep looking back.
Not right now. Maybe one day it will be.
And we have much to look forward to, I guess.
Going to kick Fear's ass and Thebes.
I hope we do more than kick it, but yes.
Kill it. Burn it. Erase it from existence. Take your pick.
That
Will
would
not
be.
become it.
There's a moment where everybody's like, "Whoop!" The unspoken, but what is it called? The intrusive thought. The intrusive thought that comes out.
I like how they were concerned that Laertes had been infected, and that's what comes out of Astrid.
There's a bit of a crunch sound behind you as Ma'al like chews on a little bit of crunchy fried fish. I don't know. I felt like Corinth had some good food. I will have to come back sometime. And you guys continue on.
I'm just going to link arms with my fellow scholar.
Excellent.
Lovely. All right. You guys continue on your path.
Ismia.
Ismia. All right. Pronounce Ismia. All right. Well, that's where we will end for tonight. So hit the road, hit that dusty trail.
It's a Mia Greek city-state.
Yep. Alrighty. We will pick up there next Tuesday. Looking forward to whatever little adventures happen along the way as we narrow down our time to hit Thebes and hopefully stop a darkness from spreading across the land. Ooh. Or whatever. Or whatever. But we will see you guys tomorrow for some Vampire the Masquerade. We'll see you on Sunday over at Top Down Tabletop for some kids on bikes with ghosts and dark secrets. And then we'll be back for some more lovely Greek times and some later on some Star Wars times. So fun 2 weeks planned. So we will see you soon. Stay fey, be brave, safe with this mango. Don't forget the bunny spreads. That's no moon. And
Be soup.
Soylent Stew is people.
beware tasty stews.
Evil sandwiches.
Evil sandwiches. Beware the evil Subway.
So Subway.
Bye guys. Bye.
You made it yourself.